states and Florida's Attorney General now calling for a criminal investigation into this. Does this constitute election bribery? What is the GOP going to do about this?
Well, it does look that way, and this isn't the first time Bloomberg has done these activities. Remember what he did in the last congressional races, spending more than $110 million. Now he's spending $100 million just in Florida, but also trying to buy people's votes. I want to make sure every vote counts. We as a nation have a right to make sure we have a fair and accurate election. But it's really concerning to me, these activities. And look in California. Our Secretary of State just made a contract when it came to voting with a company that is working for Joe Biden's campaign. This is atrocious that they are continuing to do this. And that is why the Republicans have put out a commitment to America. You should have a right to know what would we do if we were to win this election. We want to restore our way of life, defeat this virus, and more importantly, at the same time, build a safe and effective vaccine and protect pre-existing conditions. But what about our streets that we've watched in these Democrat cities? We want to make sure they're safe and secure. So we don't cut police funding. We actually increase it by $1.75 billion for veteran training, community policing, and 500,000 new body cameras. But we also have a plan for the economy to have 10 million new jobs. This is a difference to what the Democrats are doing about defunding and dismantling. We warned you about this many times on your own show. They are for impeachment. They are continually obsessed by this because their ideas in this majority of the Democrats is obsolete. They do not allow any new young people and new ideas into their party.
But Congressman, you just said impeachment. Nancy Pelosi is talking about it again. The Democrats are threatening to break all constitutional norms and standards. The president, they want to impeach the president. They want to pack the court with Democrats, the Supreme Court. Adam Schiff is even calling for mass defections from the Trump administration. So what are you doing to fight this? Because I know that Joe Biden has 600 lawyers. Hillary Clinton already said under no circumstances should Joe Biden concede this election. Do you have that kind of legal strength on your team? Is the president ready for a fight, or does he need a landslide in order to make people understand that he did in fact win fairly?
Well, we have a team behind us, but what we really need is the American public. First thing you need to do is go to TakeTheHouse.com and join with us. We have a legal team there, but we need people to make sure your vote counts. If you get a ballot in the mail, vote it and send it in, but follow it online to make sure your vote counts and it gets there. If for some reason it does not, follow up with the elections office. Go to the election on election day as well to make sure your vote counts. Secondly, we don't have Michael Bloomberg. So that's what I tell. Join with us. If you go to TakeTheHouse.com, the best thing we could do is retire Nancy Pelosi. And I make this promise to you and to the American public. If Nancy Pelosi moves to impeach this president because he's following the Constitution, I will move to vacate her from the chair of the speakership.
Congressman, let me ask you, the president, as part of his outlook for a second term, said that he's going to be encouraging term limits. Now, in my exclusive interview with the president for my book, which is coming out next month, I said to him, Mr. President, what have you learned in your first term? He said, what I learned is that there's deep corruption in government and there are certain people that are protected. That interview is in this book coming up. Let me ask you about that. Would you encourage term limits? Because according to the president, there are people protected, and that's because people are in this government for 10s and 20s years, 47 years, Joe Biden.
Yeah, when Joe Biden first came to the Senate, he's been there so long, he served with people who were born in the 1800s. Our very best term limit is, let's not let them sit in office 12 years. Let's remove them if they're bad. I'm very supportive of more competitive seats to remove people. But you got Nancy Pelosi, Steny Hoyer, and Clyburn all sitting there for more than 30 years. This is a real problem of what we have. And that's why this president, President Trump, not only needs to be reelected, he needs a Congress that will work for this country, not just work against them. They want to pack the courts. They want to make Washington, D.C. a state so they could try to win the Senate. They are trying to dismantle this nation and destroy it by raising taxes. That's why we need people to join with us today. And I've got to tell you, I'm going to pre-order that book now, The Cost, because I know what you've been saying on your show for so many times. You were the first that told us about this coup, and now we're learning more every single day. This is an election not about Republican versus Democrat. This is about freedom versus socialism. Even President Obama said there is no difference between Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. And think of this. For the last 14 days, 7 of those 14, Joe Biden has called a lid in the morning. I'm not sure about what's going on with him, but it concerns me because I've watched our current president be able to go to 3 different states in one day, name a Supreme Court justice, have peace in the Middle East even closer, all within 1 or 2 days. And Joe Biden can't even decide whether he can talk to the American people or the press? That is not somebody who could withstand the office of the presidency and make the decisions we need. But we also need a Congress that could actually work with this president. Thank you very much, Maria.
All right, great to have you this morning, Congressman.